Hey, Bri, doesn't it suck that the boss is always over our shoulder when we're trying to talk?
Jay, he should be entertained by us. Let's get out of here and finish this conversation.
All right, as long as it's not work-related.
Jay!
B!
How's it going?
I'm hyped, my friend.
I want to welcome everyone to the work-related podcast.
We are related by work on Twitter.
On X.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
You'll have something to tweet this time about who wins. I think at the end of this show, you should tweet who you think wins.
See, you've already jumped the gun. Who wins between me and you? Nobody knows what you're talking about
No,
right
Drake
now.
and Kendrick.
Yes, my friends, we are doing a very special edition of the work-related podcast.
Yep.
We're going to. So I have not listened to any of the songs.
None at all. So have you heard snippets or anything?
No. So again, fucking to new listeners who didn't have to listen to the whole show last week, or people that didn't get all the way to the end of last week. We left last week talking about. Well, we've talked about this for a couple of weeks, and then I was just like. I can't remember what I made you. You were supposed to do something, but whatever.
Something
Again,
like
you
that.
get off the hook because we can't remember that. But I was going to listen to the songs because I had never even heard it. I've already just been getting schooled on what rap beefs were and listening to looking at that article from the history of rap beefs since like 1986. It's funny it happened when you were born that these things started happening. Hey, what's up with that?
I know. That's
And then we decided that we should just almost do a close version of an on live air, I don't know, review or what's it called?
Reaction?
Reaction.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what the kids call it these days. And so, we're going to play up this old white guy angle that apparently it doesn't need to be played up that much.
Yeah.
You know, because I have no, like...
No idea?
No idea. I don't even know how to even set the scene up even more. Like how I told you, I don't even know if I know any Kendrick Lamar songs.
And that's good. That's a good way to come in because you say you don't know any Kendrick Lamar songs and you don't know, I asked you at work, you don't know Drake the rapper. You only know Drake the pop star type of a thing.
Sure,
right?
whatever gets like a radio play.
Yeah, so Drake is a rapper, right?
See, now... Yeah, you have to tell me that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because I only know, like, the Hotline Bling. I only know him as the poppy side.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not the big poppy, but, like pop singer side.
Yeah.
And just knowing why, like, he's like a, whatever, you know what I mean? Like a not a ballad singer.
Yeah.
But he's singing to the ladies.
Absolutely.
Any song I've already heard, it's singing to the ladies.
For sure.
So far away from any kind of gangster rap.
Yeah.
And you've even said it, like, you like the gangster West Coast thing. Like, I almost have to say my favorite rap is gangster rap. My favorite, I don't know if that's my favorite version of hip hop. It's not what I liked about Nas. You know what I mean? Like, and all the Nas songs that I've ever heard, I don't know if I try to explain it to people, but I try to explain it's like, I just figured he's bragging. He's not really dissing. Whatever was a diss track was way over my head.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking like they're flossing. They're doing whatever, right? Like to show how they're the king.
Yeah.
Not putting other people down. And so, like I said, it's over my head. So I don't even know why I brought that up.
Yeah, so like I agree. Like my favorite rapper of the times right now is J. Cole. J. Cole's my favorite rapper. He's more of a Nas-esque rapper. You're not really he's Nas-esque without the gangster part.
So this was
very conscious, very thoughtful, very storytelling type, more of a Biggie without the gangster thing. That's like J. Cole, right?
So would you call like that? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Where does the storytelling and the gangster thing like separate? Like, because like Biggie, I would say he's telling stories about being a gangster. Like, so whereas NWA, I don't know.
It separates when the world got a lot bigger and rappers really only came from the hood. Like we talked about before, rap really came from the struggle, right? When rap started to branch out, that's not from the hood. Like J. Cole's from like North Carolina, which obviously has its hood elements. But when you're a person who is grown up in rap and then you see the things that you want to avoid, like, because they always say, what are you going to do, rap or die? Because that's what happened to gangsters and drug dealers. You want to rap or die or play basketball. Like that's your only option. He was one of those guys who was like wanted to stay away from it, and he had gangster friends who told him like, there's this one song that J. Cole had that he said like, I want to like tell me how to give me some drugs so I can sell, and the guy told him like, why would you want to be like me when I want to be like you? I don't want to sell drugs. So he has like this whole song about that. So that whole type of rappers exist. Like that's like a really big thing, and like that's a whole like subgenre of rap. And that's like the rap I kind of lean to, like if you're good anyways.
I get it. I think that's where I was going to say, like, when I was talking about Nas, it's like he does talk it from the streets or whatever. And now, like, again, I'm just an old man. Like, these are so old. They're so long ago songs that I'm like, no. Like, I would say the last, and this is probably even before Spotify almost, the last real album, see, I'm talking all the terms that I purchased, again, old terms, was like Nas's No Introduction.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if any of that was those tracks were a diss on anybody.
No.
Like, it's a long time ago. And then so, like, that's as far as I've gotten. I just, like I said, like, I got to get stuck in my ways. So I appreciate how you're saying it's like the storytelling element of the gangster rap. Like, it's not a subgenre per se, but you can make it like that. Like, he's more of a storyteller. He's more of this, he's more of that.
Well,
like,
rap is just branched out so much. You have your pop rap, which is considered hip hop. That's like hip hop was considered, like your 50 Cents, which is your gangster rap but popular type shit. Your Drake's, right? Your now Jay-Z's type of thing. Like, that's really hip hop type of a thing. And then rap is like Kendrick Lamar is considered like a rapper. Like J. Cole's considered a rapper. Nas is considered a rapper.
And what's Drake considered?
A hip hop artist. So Drake is the first person to take the Ja Rule. We discussed this at work, so I can't really go into it. But the Ja Rule 50 Cent sing-songy rapper, Nelly,
okay,
and take it to be like bigger than those guys.
Like, so I don't know how you get bigger than Nelly.
And that's
like,
Drake.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, Nelly's almost the perfect example.
Yeah.
Like, so is Nelly? I don't think you're the type of person to say that. Is Nelly a sellout for being like on a Dancing with the Stars
great.
now?
Nelly's
like,
great.
You don't find any sellout version. You always say that.
No,
like,
Nelly.
And I appreciate that from you.
Yeah, because these guys have done so much for hip hop and so much for rap culture that I can't just say you're a sellout. You just go the path you want to go. Some people like Kendrick Lamar don't want to go that path, but some people like 50 Cent and Jay-Z and Nelly go that path. They go for the money. They go for the fame. They go for pushing the culture forward in a monetary way, right? So that's what they do, and I'm freaking fine with that. I don't care. I'm good with whatever way you choose. Just, you know.
I don't know if I might not even know who they are. I don't even know if you would consider anybody a sellout. I don't think you think like that.
I think
you think that's a shitty term.
Unless it's blatantly like a sellout, like you forced. Like if Kendrick Lamar started going hip hoppy, like poppy right now, which he kind of did. He's done some Taylor Swift collabs and stuff like that. I would consider him a sellout. Like I consider his collabs, his features kind of a sellout-ish, but I don't knock him for that because he doesn't really go that direction.
I think when you call somebody a sellout, is that you are trying to knock him off. Like I agree,
no.
It's a weak thing to do. It's not.
It's only because he preaches something and does something else. Drake has never preached. Drake has never preached freaking the stuff that Kendrick preaches. He's preaching just doing great music and making people dance and making people listen to his music. Kendrick is trying to push a movement.
Okay, and you said that Kendrick is way more not in the public eye like Drake. Like he kind of doesn't do interviews.
Yeah,
he's like he lets his music talk. He hasn't put any shit out for a long time. You said
he takes like 3-4 years. Type of a thing. Yeah,
and so before we get back into this thing, a guy like me thinks a guy like Kendrick Lamar is just using Drake and his name to elevate him own self. Mm-hmm. Like he can't go pick on, like he's picking on the biggest dog in the schoolyard to like say, you know what I mean? Like, for whatever reason, but just like to get noticed.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're not going to pick on, like somebody who nobody cares about, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you're going to try to take the top guy out.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? We were talking about like Rick Ross or even like Nas. Like if he went like for Nas for some reason, it wouldn't be as popular enough for me to want to talk about it on our podcast. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be like, but this became such a beef thing. I'm talking about rap beefs in general, and people were like clamoring for it.
Yeah.
It's not like, and you even said it's like it's part of hip hop from way back. Yeah, like it's all like it's how it's ingrained.
Yeah.
And I think I've maybe even just try to explain it today here. Like I've just missed. I just didn't know that's what they were talking about, even when they were.
Sometimes, that's just how it goes. So to preface this whole thing, Drake and Kendrick has been sending subliminal shots on songs for years.
Okay.
Subliminal.
Yes.
Right? And they know that they're talking about each other, and some people pick up on it, but the first song we're gonna listen to when we go to is gonna be the first song off of a diss album that included a bunch of artists who've all collaborated with Drake. There's a producer named Metro Boomin who's actually a highly regarded producer he's from Atlanta. And Future, have you ever heard of Future?
Yeah.
I've
heard of him.
His album, him and Metro Boomin, he's also from Atlanta. And so they made this diss album towards Drake called We Don't Trust You.
Is this starting to cut you out? Is this where this whole beef, this recent?
Yes.
Is this where my interest starts from?
This is where the first song of that whole beef thing started.
Is the whole album dedicated to beefing with Drake?
Beefing with Drake.
But we're not going to listen to the whole album.
No,
we're going to.
It just features a bunch of people who don't like Drake.
Okay, and never have. Or
we don't know.
They were collaborating
They've all
with
collaborated. So it's The Weeknd, which was on Drake's label. He's on
and
there.
He's from Toronto.
Yep. There's the ASAP Rocky, who's dating Rihanna.
Oh yeah.
Who is Drake's ex-girlfriend.
Okay. I don't even know I knew that. I don't think I knew that.
So there's like a whole bunch of people on there, and you only allow yourself to be on this album. You sign that paper to be on this album because you're going for.
And why is it only one song that needs to be listened to off of this album?
Okay, so the reason that is one, so Future and Drake have an album together.
Okay.
So
from how long ago?
It's like maybe like 3-4 years.
Okay.
So it's not that long. It's pretty recent. It's actually one of the better albums that Drake has collaborated with, like album. So it's only because Kendrick and Drake have been doing these diss shots for probably 5 to 10 years, and nothing has ever come from it. And then now, because Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick are considered the big three of hip-hop,
we'll go,
right?
Yep.
And so they had this song, Drake had this song called First Person Shooter, and they talked about, it's featuring J. Cole, and they had this whole big three thing.
How long ago was that song put out?
This song was put out this year.
Okay, sorry.
And so they said like, we're the big, J. Cole said, everybody's arguing who's the big three. Me, J. Cole, Kendrick, and me. Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick, and yeah. So
J. Cole's the one saying me, Drake, and Kendrick.
Yeah, so it was them three. And so that, he said that on the song and whatever, but Kendrick's not on the song. And so the first diss song from the album, We Don't Trust You, Kendrick says, we'll hear it.
Okay.
Kendrick says, there's fuck the big three. It's just big me type of
thing. So that's why it's the one song that starts.
That set the whole thing off.
Got you.
And J. Cole, we're not going to listen to any J. Cole diss tracks because he took it off streaming, but J. Cole did a diss track to Kendrick, and then he apologized and exited the beef, which people that's a whole different story.
Okay, that's we were going to complicate that. I don't like that.
But J. Cole's he's not one of those guys. He's not trying to get into that. He said he couldn't sleep about it, bothered his spirit, whatever. I hated it because, like I said, J. Cole's my favorite rapper of the times.
Okay.
And I think he's the best rapper of the times, actual rapper. And I think it would have been way better if he was in the beef.
Why don't you think he did?
He said he went on stage. He has a festival every year in his city that he was born, and it's really big. It's like a 3-day festival. It's called Dreamfest, and like a whole bunch of artists go to it. And he went on stage when he was performing and apologized for dissing. This is after the diss song, obviously. His diss song came out, and he apologized, and so that's why he said that. He felt away, didn't bother it wasn't sitting right. He's a very peaceful guy, didn't sit with his spirit, and he couldn't sleep. And him and Kendrick are friends, apparently.
Okay.
They're really cool. So he's just like, he just didn't want to do it, and that was that, and he exited the beef.
Do people think that he's more on Kendrick's side than Drake's?
Everybody thinks he just exited.
Okay.
They don't think he's on any
side. So these are 6 songs we're going to try to do today.
Yes.
Right? We know we go long. We could do 6 episodes now and one song an episode, but no, we're going to bang it out. And so it went from an album and then just back and forth. So did this go?
So it went from 2 albums.
Okay, you know what? Okay.
2 albums, 20, it was like in total, let's say maybe 12 people dissing Drake on 2 albums versus Drake. And so a lot of these songs that we're going to hear, Drake addresses some of the people on the album.
So let's start off. Let's just say we're going to wake up day one when this song comes out.
Yes.
At the time you know this song, you don't know how far this is going to go.
Yep.
Okay, so but we know now we're going to do like 6 songs apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to listen to the first one. I'm going to try to take notes.
We're gonna listen to the first 2.
Okay,
We're gonna
whatever.
listen to the first one
Oh,
and then
I see.
the response.
Oh, the reply. Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll be back.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Can't wait.
Okay, so we back.
Are we back? Are we like just like that? Hey, you're
Just
gonna
like
edit
that.
all my fucking creaking my way back into my chair.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you cut me off. Do anything you want. Right? I don't
For
know how
sure.
this is like. This
Go
is a
for
work in
it.
progress. If you would have just, or if I would have just heard that song for the first time, it was good. Like it was good enough. Like I wouldn't have sought the song out.
Would that have made you listen to the album?
I doubt it. Like I'm not into like this is where my old man might come in. I don't really care that much. You know what I mean? Like I would have been like, oh, that's pretty cool. I would have. So when it first starts going, and I just think it's a guy bragging about fucking chicks.
Yeah.
I think he's just like going. I wouldn't never really again like I said, shit's over my head. Right? Like it's hard to put this all in the context of the whole rap beef right now.
For sure.
But like if I can just hear that song right away going. And then if you would have given me that song to listen to and said, yeah, listen, this guy's so whatever, when Kendrick starts singing, and I gotta say, if I've never heard Kendrick before, it really starts banging when he gets in.
Absolutely.
I could do without Future.
So your opinion on Future, just off that, you haven't heard many Future songs.
No, I have not heard a Future song. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
But you really notice how bad it is once Kendrick starts.
So here's the thing. Here's my thing with Future.
Yeah.
Is he's regarded in hip hop as like high level. They said for example, when J. Cole apologized, they said the big 3 is Future because he's like, they say he's top 5. I don't think so. I don't think Future's even close to modern day top 5. But, you know, he does sell a lot and I don't know, people like his music. So, I don't know.
He was 100% vanilla rapper to like there was nothing about his voice.
Yeah.
There was nothing about his tone. Like I said, he was just like bragging about fucking a chick, and it was, or, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like it was just a kind of normal bragging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
I don't know what it is.
I don't know how to describe.
I
that.
don't know what it is with him, but
there was nothing there. There was no. I'll get into more of once I heard like Drake sing like or rap like that. But anyway, Kendrick comes on, and just his tone of voice makes me more interested.
Yeah.
It makes Future sound worse once he starts going.
Yeah.
But I like the beat. You know what I mean? Like it's the same. Okay. It might not be the right words, then I go for the whole song. It's a real basic beat, the whole thing. It almost just seems like a fucking, you know what I mean? Like a Google beat. Give me a certain whatever beat.
Okay. Yep.
So I was bobbing my head, but it was nothing special. Okay. And then Kendrick comes on, his style makes it start to be a little bit special.
Yep.
And then if I would have known Drake had a first person shooter song, he mentions that right away in one of the first verses, I think.
Absolutely.
So then I can maybe start to say that it's he's starting to go after Drake.
Yeah.
And so if I'm into beefs, then I might start listening more. So I don't know, other than that, it's like a pretty good song. And then if I listen to some of the words he's talking about, like burning tattoos, it sounds like he's distancing himself from Drake, or admitting that he was once part of Drake's crew. Like I said, like burning tattoos, I'm burning my association with you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like I'm getting jumped out or whatever.
Yep.
But voluntarily.
Yep.
But it wasn't. I didn't find it brutal.
No.
I didn't find it like it wasn't as personal. You know. And so it was, like I said, a half decent song that I probably would not have put on repeat again
on your playlist.
Yeah, it would not have stayed on my playlist.
Okay.
And it does not measure up to this old guy's '90s hip hop.
Okay.
If I'm saying that's my favorite.
All right. Fair enough.
I don't know I don't know what am I missing with that opinion?
I don't know. I'm gonna agree with you because I don't. It's hard because I'm not the biggest Future fan or Kendrick fan. I think the song is like you said, like it's a good song, but it's not on any of my playlists. I didn't add it to any of my playlists, so I don't know.
When you first heard it, did somebody say, "Hey, listen to this track about Drake"? How did you first hear that song?
So it was the single before the album came, and so when it came out, everyone was like, "Oh, Kendrick dissed Drake on Future's album, and Future's having a whole diss album." The whole thing just came as one. So then I was like, "Okay, shit! Obviously I have to hear Kendrick's verse." And there was snippets of Kendrick's verse. I was like, "Oh shit, the beef is this gonna be a beef? Like, is this gonna happen? Like." whatever.
Yeah, you went, oh shit.
yeah. So
okay.
like it's
That's
starting.
cool. That's what I want to know. That's
and
what I want
because
to know.
I've been listening to this the whole time of all the underground shots. I'm like, finally, is this actually gonna happen now?
So that's even better. So yeah, again, I admit I missed that. So right away, once a guy like me hears like the first person shooter, you're like excited.
Yeah.
Are you excited for Drake's response? Are you excited for the beef even being alive? What are you excited for?
Beef, because
you're excited just for
every
beef.
single time we get rap beef, we get good music. There's no losing for the audience.
So part of your excitement is the anticipation of what's coming next.
Yeah.
You're not anticipating fucking how long it went.
No.
Your anticipation is for the next song.
Yep.
The response.
Yep.
And so that's why you're making me listen to 2 in a row.
Yes.
Okay, so the response.
Yes. So the time frame between the response, this song came out, and I think Drake made the next song that you listen. Are we ready to go to the next song?
Yeah, let's go to Push-Ups.
The next song, he dropped it like 8 days later.
8. Okay.
And this is after Drake came off tour and has already said that he's taking a time for music. So it happened like a month after this, and then so Drake is home. He's here. He's at home, and then he hears this song, and then
8 days later,
he does this.
Was he ever on, like, he probably didn't go on a podcast or any other kind of media
No, Drake
beforehand?
doesn't really do that much.
No, of course not. Like, okay, so I admit that I don't know much of Drake and no poppy stuff for Drake. I've heard that rap voice of his before or whatever.
Yep.
Like that's. I mean, people are going to think I'm just like you, a Toronto boy or whatever. Right away, it's a fucking far superior song to me.
Absolutely.
Right away, he's on fucking point.
Yeah.
Right, like the beat, whatever you want to say, is way more complex behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It's even better when it breaks down and so it's just him talking with a fucking like a slight drum behind it, whatever. Like he was okay. I heard him attack a lot of other people.
Yeah,
and I'm not even everything gets forgiven for me, right? Because I am who I am. But he was like funny like Biggie. Like he's funny like Eminem.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm not like saying who's better, whatever. But he's fucking everything he said. I didn't know any of that stuff. I could tell he was making fun of Ricky Ross.
Yeah,
I could tell he was, and like when he says in my mind when he says drop and give me 50. Like he's like taking 50s, you know what I mean? Like I have this producer.
Yep.
Like I have like, you know what I mean? When he's making fun of like I got my own record label. You're fucking giving your money away to fucking your Interscope. Like you're in my scope and your Interscope. Like those things that's what I live for my hip hop and rap.
And that's the thing. And the 50, he mentions 50 because Rick Ross and 50 Cent had a massive, like a really big beef, which is one of the beefs that's never been fixed.
50. Yeah.
And so he says the 50 in that song to Rick Ross.
Yeah, no, I like that.
He's like, people have me talking like I'm 50, for example. Which is
that was funny too. Yeah. No, I love that too.
So I love the line where he says, he's like, he's talking about a girl, I guess, that they had a problem with, and he's like, you're acting like I cuffed her like I'm Ricky.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's when he starts bringing Ricky's name into it.
Yeah.
I wish I could have had enough time to say exactly what points I liked about it. The first song gave me way less things I wanted to remember about it. The second song, and it's hard because I know the whole thing about it, but in a way, you already can tell Drake's taking, like he admitted, like what, you got to see 20 on 1? I don't know if Drake had to take all 20 on.
He didn't, but
you hear him trying to take all 20 on in this one song.
Here's the thing with Drake, which is this is also known in the hip hop community. Anytime people diss him, he doesn't shy away. He always disses everybody who disses him.
But that's admirable. It must be in some point.
Yeah.
I'm saying
they say he never backs down.
But yeah, I guess like in a way is that like is insecurity?
I think so, but I think he has to fend off people. Right now he's on top of the game and you have to fend people off. Otherwise
knock everybody down.
Yeah. So
don't give him a fucking inch.
That's the issue. Like he's addressing a lot of people at once when really, let's be honest, you should only be addressing Kendrick Lamar at this point.
So I'm trying to say that, but in a way, it doesn't take anything away from the song. I would listen to that song again and again.
Yeah.
Like, and before this conversation, I would have just like, oh, I can hear him. Just like I thought Eminem is just taking on, in a way, he's taking on Moby. He's taking on fucking Christina Aguilera. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, in the same way, don't put my name in your mouth.
Don't even say it in an interview.
Like, get my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. Right? But you can't actually slap him. But when you do this, right away, the style, I love it was more close to that 90s hip hop, you know what I mean? Like it's far, far away from that. Like he's got that not
Edge. He has an edge.
no. Yeah, like so I appreciated the edge. And I'm not going to say it's like an auto-tuneness to him, but you know what I mean? There something reminds me that I'm in 2024 when I hear his voice.
Yeah.
Right? But it brought me back to my hip-hop roots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I felt that.
So at this point when we had heard these two songs, people said Drake was up 1-0.
Yes,
that's what it was at.
I would agree. I'm up 1-0 with Drake.
Okay. You should keep a score.
I'll put it
You
right.
should keep a score. I'm not even going to talk about scores anymore until the end.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ruined it now. So we're going to do 2 more songs.
2 more songs.
So now, I mean, I don't know if we do this on the top or the like. You know, when does the response to this song come out? How late? How soon?
14 days, I think it was.
That's crazy.
13 or 14 days.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to jump ahead 14 days when we talk to you guys next.
Yeah.
Well, actually, probably further because then we have to hear the second one.
Yes.
So we'll see you guys in a month.
Okay. Okay, so we're back again.
All right, we got everything. We're not going to have to like stop this and do it again when you say, "Oh, I never pressed record again."
No.
Everything's going.
I pushed it. We're good to go.
All right,
that never happened, by the way.
What? Yeah. Oh, fuck you. Like, why are you bringing up? You want beef? You want beef? I'm fucking ready.
Are we
to
gonna
go,
get a J diss track?
A J and B diss track. Okay, so last thing we said was we were talking about push-ups. I would have said, okay, I'm keeping the scores, like, or it doesn't matter. From now on, I'm keeping the scores.
Yeah.
But after the first 2 songs, I would have said Drake's up 1-0.
Yeah.
And then we heard, what did we hear first?
We heard Tailor Made.
No, but then no. It was the one, oh yeah, Tailor Made. Sorry, Tailor Made.
Tailor-Made.
So Drake comes up with 2 in a row. Drake does push-ups.
Yep.
Which I said was like I thought it was better.
Way
I
better.
thought it was
And then
funnier.
6 days later, he did Tailor Made.
Okay, so Tailor Made. This one, other than the second one, this is the song I heard about the most.
The AI one.
Yeah, and like it's funny because I keep bringing up 90s hip-hop.
Yeah.
And so right away, and we love AI. I'm in. I'm fucking, I even say I want AI version. I want Biggie singing Sinatra.
Especially when it's used good.
And it was great.
Yes.
I'm going to come off right away, and I'm a little bit conscious of it, that I'm a Toronto boy at heart, and Drake, I'm on Drake's camp.
But you don't have to, because when we first talked about it, you said Kendrick won. So you were on.
If I would have just read about it.
Yes.
Okay, you're right. So it's making me change my mind because even before this 90s, so he's bringing the 90s right to me. Like I said, if that's my comparison, that Drake already had a leg up. And then the use of AI, which everybody knows I'm a nerd about. So I'm in. And the fact that he's singing it and it's it's changing his voice.
Yeah.
So it's not like I loved it. I thought it was clever.
And he's singing to Kendrick.
So now
from their perspective.
So now it's starting to get a little personal.
Yeah.
And now, again, it's hard to know everything about it, but now he's bringing his heroes into it. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like his elders, shame on you, Kendrick, type of thing, right?
Yep.
And I thought it was funny. You do start to hear it get a little bit more personal. And like I said, so this is, out of the 3 songs, this is my favorite so far.
Tailor Made.
Tailor Made was my favorite so far.
Nice.
I do hear it get a little personal. In a way, if I have to add up the push-ups and the Tailor Made, I'm thinking like, Drake, you're going a little hard now.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're being a little defensive.
Yeah.
I didn't I don't know, but you're 2 in a row. You in my mind, you already won. Why are you doing this? Now you're kicking a dead horse in a way.
Because in Drake's eyes, like I didn't say it on air, but Drake coined the warm-up tracks, warning people. He did this with Pusha T. He did this with Meek Mill as well. He did this warming up, like, are you sure you want to do this type of a thing?
That's what this is, you think?
That's what Tailor Made was.
Oh, and
also as the one before. They were both warm-up tracks. Like, first one was like, are you going to drop a song or are you going to keep talking? And then when he realized he wasn't dropping the song, Tailor Made came out like, come on, man, your heroes are telling you, drop a song.
So
what
I love that.
Doing,
You're
right?
There's so many layers that I don't even know.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And then you even told me, like, the fact, and we'll get into it when I hear the response to this, because he's already going to try to play on this Drake's not in the culture part.
Yes,
And
exactly.
and so before he can even get to that, Drake's pointing out like your Taylor Swift
Exactly.
bitch.
You did Maroon 5 and all this stuff.
You have to get permission from this, and I'm going to call her out. She's just giving her props.
Oh yeah, she does
like,
big numbers.
Nothing wrong with her.
Big numbers.
Yeah, like I don't blame you for fucking being her bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Like that's what he's saying. Like, yeah,
exactly.
you go get it. I even changed my album dropping because of Taylor. Like, I wish she would call me. I might do a feature for her type of thing, right? Like, smart move, my protege.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I could find that angle. So I was in. But in a way, I was just like I said, for an old hat, I love the 90s angle.
Yeah.
And for some weird reason, I don't know, I should love Snoop Dogg. Like, I love, like, there's
you
nothing
don't love Snoop Dogg?
I do. Yeah. There's nothing like the whole like eras, Taylor Swift pun intended, of Snoop Dogg. I'm in for like
for
Cook
sure.
with Martha Stewart. Fucking, you know what I mean? Like, be a gangbanger, all that shit.
All that.
He's never been my favorite. He's not my favorite rapper at all.
Yeah.
He's my favorite character.
For sure.
He's my favorite fucking weed smoker.
He's an icon.
He's an icon. He deserves everything. Him and Dre, like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, like, it's there.
I agree with you.
Snoop Dogg by himself is just, you know what I mean? Like, he earns all my respect, but I'm not, he's
not on your playlist.
Yeah, like, so it didn't hit as hard as good as it did sound as good, and I get the West Coast icons, but it was real fun to hear Drake sing as Tupac.
Yes.
Like, it sounded actually like Tupac to me. So yeah, I loved it. So what what did you think of that when you heard it?
I liked it. I liked the angle. Same from you. I was like, I liked the angle. I liked how he used the AI. That wasn't, that was Snoop AI.
Yeah, I know it wasn't
so
really
he was
Snoop.
like, so I liked that he used both like a past icon and like a more current but still past icon, one who's alive, one who's dead. I like that. I don't know if it was the best use to use somebody who was still alive.
True.
Because that person could respond, and apparently Drake never discussed it with him, which I think he should have said, yo, I'm going to use you in this beef, whatever.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think I see what he was trying to do. And I think it went off well. And I think some people took it in a different way, a negative way, like why are you using this? It's rap beef. You could do what you want.
I don't know if he intended on this, and this is how conversations can change. And again, we can bring up fucking millions of like hours of podcasts that we want to talk to.
Yeah.
This is in a way of bringing up the AI copyright conversation.
For sure.
Right? Like, it's fucking, hey, like, he's not making Snoop Dogg, you know what I mean? But like, this is what AI does now.
It's not like he's making a Snoop Dogg song and selling a Snoop Dogg song. He's just using the angle from Snoop Dogg and then just using his voice.
But in a long game, you're right.
It's better. But yeah, this is a way better way to bring up usher in AI.
Yeah, no, it's like fucking, like, you already can't stop some random fuck for putting a Snoop Dogg like, track on his random fuck album.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't, that's not what he was trying to do.
No.
He was trying to like make his granddaddies say how disappointed he was in him.
And up until recently, Drake never put any of his songs on streaming. Some of them got taken down and he can't use them. But as of like this week, a lot of the diss tracks have been on streaming now.
So I do find it, like I said, there is something like untowards, or, you know what I mean? Like a little fucking...
I agree.
But like whatever.
But he had to, I guess.
No. But this, like I said, this is the point in the recording artists are the last ones to get their props for their real money.
Yep.
Right? Like they get scammed by everybody and all the time. And so even now, Tupac's estate isn't owned by anybody in Tupac's family.
No.
Right? It's like, this is like their estate is starting to do this. Tupac, anybody can make a Tupac hologram.
Yeah.
Right? Like whoever owns that rights. And really now we're just taking like the disgustingness of making an artist a business. And so this is where I'm thinking it's funny. It's a long game. Like, if I want, I can make a Snoop Dogg song.
Exactly.
Snoop Dogg can make a Drake song and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Right? So, but that's just different. I'm just saying. So I appreciated it. It was funny again. And it brought the 90s back into my old head. So,
nice.
So again, if I had to say anything, I still say Drake's up 1-0 still.
Okay. And then that last one was on April 19th. That was Taylor Made. And then on April 30th is when Kendrick dropped Euphoria, which is what we heard.
So should I go first or?
Yeah, go.
I fucking hated the start of that song.
Me too.
Like, so that song was all Kendrick, right?
Yep.
So if going off of like bringing me back into my fucking 90s head and heard that beginning, it was just like, it was the furthest thing I would think to a response to a disc coming. Everything about it went over my head. And I was just like, man, I almost wanted to turn that song off. Admittedly, it started banging.
Yeah,
it started going a little bit better.
For sure.
He, for the first time between these two songs, he started being funny. He had it was too long. If anything, like, you know what I mean? I guess it doesn't matter. It was a song, but it was a better song than his first one. But like fucking 15 minutes in, I felt, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, okay, it's not as good as it was when I first started listening. Like, make me hear it again instead of the same song for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated the humor in his lyrics.
Yeah, I love the Daft Punk line. I think.
Oh my God, wear a helmet like Daft Punk.
Yeah,
that was sick.
I love that.
Yeah, I wish
one.
I could write down all the lines.
I like the Parkinson thing. That
dementia.
one was a good one.
Yeah, you heard me like laugh each time that.
For sure.
So you've heard these a bunch of times and seen that. So for the first time in this beef, he's coming up to the level of Drake's funniness.
Yep.
And bringing. And it was getting way more personal.
Yeah.
And let's see here. I started hearing Drake getting attacked for not being black enough.
Yeah.
Recognize how hard it is for this old white guy to talk about being black enough.
For sure.
Like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get anything about that. You know what I mean? I don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's. You give me all the grace if I try to bring this stuff up. But he brought up the line of FUBU. Like, I either bring up culture, I could bring up hard R, I could bring up lots of ways to say things that I can't say. But FUBU is one of my favorite things to say.
Yeah.
Like, for us, by us is undeniable.
Absolutely.
Right? And it was so long ago. Right?
And that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, are we treating this, like, are we going to treat this as everything they say is true, or everything they say is not true? Or are we going to believe whatever they have proof of? Because, for example, the FUBU line, I don't know how it leaked. Maybe Drake leaked it, but then it showed pictures of Drake in high school with FUBU clothes. So, like, it's really hard for me. Like, I need to know the parameters. Are we going to go, yeah, everything they're saying is fair game, whether it's a lie or not, and we're just listening to the artistry of it? Or are we going to do only what they have proof of?
See, that's when I'm hearing it so far. I mean, I guess when they're singing it, I can see you take it for truth. Like, I don't know why you would lie.
Well, that's what they do, because, you know, how else do you attack? These people are so shrouded in mystery, especially when they're close circles. They don't really know everything that they let on to. And like when you were talking about the Drake not being black enough, it's like, where does it stop? Like, do you stop at Michael Jackson? Do you stop at J. Cole? Is his mom is white, right? Like, where does it end? And you only pick on Drake saying he's not black enough. Is it because he's Canadian? Well, there's a lot of black people. Like, that's why it's just really confusing for me in that. I still haven't even felt. At that point, I was just like, it doesn't matter. You're half black and you're in the culture. You're black at the end of the day.
See, that's your opinion. I agree with that opinion.
Yeah.
I understand that. So to some people, my opinion doesn't hold weight at all.
Yeah.
Unless you're asking, like, I'm giving it to people. Like,
I'm asking.
But no, I know you are, and I get it. But I'm in this multicultural, like you said. Like, I know how Toronto is dangerous and it's safe. It's not New York City. It's our own thing.
Yeah.
And I get it. I would never accuse Drake of not being black enough.
Yeah.
Would that came out of my face and be so ignorant, right? So I can't say that. But how do I not recognize that your culture has been appropriated? So if somebody accuses, it's almost like if a girl says rape, you have to believe her.
Yeah,
like Kobe.
So no.
Next week. So I would never. I think that's a lazy beef to bring up to Drake.
Yeah.
But if you're going to come across that line, you're going to never come off that line. If you want to say that about Drake, it's always going to be a thing you could go to.
Absolutely.
Like I've heard people try to attack Eminem as a appropriator.
Yeah.
And as a white, like to me, he's the greatest example of appreciating a culture.
Yeah.
That's from my angle.
I'm with you.
I know.
And most of the culture is with you. But there's always those outliers who want to say shit.
So I find this on that end.
Yes.
I think that's a weak argument against Eminem. So I attach it to a weak argument against Drake.
Yeah.
right? Like it's really hard to fucking come like I said, like the FUBU thing in the 80s, nobody cared about the culture like it was the beginning of it like that much.
Yeah, it was
no
the
kid
beginning.
was wearing a FUBU thing wanting to appropriate anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like I wore Cody, I had a pair of fucking work Kodiaks like when I was in grade 6 that I stole from somewhere, hidden in my apartment building, that I would leave my fucking 10th floor apartment with my gay Adidas and change them to go to school in my boots.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because it wasn't to appropriate anything.
You're
Because I
just
saw
wearing
some
it.
older kid wearing them.
Yeah.
I couldn't even remember what
And
he
you
looked
liked
like.
them, and you're just
That's
like,
what I mean.
fuck, that's
So
my style.
I think it's a lazy argument, but I get, you know what I mean? So I start to see that in this song.
Yeah.
I start to see Drake get attacked for appropriation.
Yeah.
Right? And he almost went like too hard on it. And I'm coming from my point of view.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because if I don't like it, if the whole song was like the beginning, I'd have said I don't want to listen to the song anymore. Like,
What, you would have stopped it?
no, the beginning, like that gay.
Yeah, no,
fucking,
you would have stopped it if that was the whole song?
Not like now in this argument, but I wouldn't want to hear it again.
Yeah.
Out of all of these songs, Like That is my least favorite. I would probably go Tailor Made, Push Ups, Euphoria, and Like That.
Okay.
Like Euphoria was way better than his first song.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not going to give you my score right now.
No, hold it.
But so we are at what date? What date did Euphoria come out
So
at?
Euphoria came out on April 30th.
Okay, and what's the next?
The next song is Kendrick Lamar Drops Again
Yeah.
on May 3rd.
And what's that?
That's called 616. So Drake, on every album, he has they call it the timestamp records. And it's called, like, there's like 315 in LA and like certain times in Toronto and Chicago. Like, he has these timestamp records, they call it. And it's where Drake really raps. And all his timestamp records are really good. People regard them as like his better tracks,
I should listen to
rapping
those.
tracks. So Kendrick drops 616 in LA, and it's obviously a mockery of his timestamp record. And so this
So
is
it's
Kendrick.
on.
It's on.
At this point, it's on.
Yes. So Kendrick drops this, and on May 3rd, 3 songs drop. So it's Kendrick drops this, then Drake drops Family Matters.
Okay, we'll be back.
Okay.
We'll explain ourselves when we get back.
Yep.
All right, we just get back into this shit.
Yes.
Remind me before we do the next fucking 2 or 3 songs or how it's always too much. Everybody's doing like these songs are too long.
They're starting to get
They
there.
start to get. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying this whole process. I respect it all, man. But just before I get, remind me, I have to text Tammy after saying this is going actually as long as she thought, not as short as I thought it might be. So we love you, baby. Okay, so last left off Euphoria, and so Kendrick did 2 in a row. It almost still makes me like, I can see why Drake doesn't need him to keep his name relevant, but it seems so manufactured. And the fact that these songs are now starting to be 7 minutes, 9 minutes long, it's just like, I don't know, right? Like I just feel the manufacturedness of it.
The thing about it is, I think that these people have hated each other for so long that they just got a lot of shit to say, which it just seems like to me, it feels like it's something that's overdue, and it's starting to feel overdue. So during this time, around this time, people were online in like the X world, Twitter, and like Instagram, and even the hip hop media. People were starting to get exhausted because there were so many accusations, there was so much songs, so much music, and it's like, God damn, like people started to say that like these guys really hated each other this whole time.
So 616 comes out. Again, it steps up the funny.
Yeah.
It was more fun. It's probably not as funny as Drake's was, but it starts to get that funny. It's not the best. So it's not the best song. Like it's still not that good to me. 616. I don't know why. Like, what do you think of 616 as a song?
It's not my favorite either.
Okay.
I think my favorite Kendrick one is probably Euphoria.
Okay, so I get
Yeah.
this is after listening to Euphoria. So in my mind, you should have just stopped and you know what I mean? Like, why are you doing 2 in a row? You got so much to say. I get that, but it's just like this is where the manufactured part is. Just like you're you know what I mean? Like you've said your piece.
Yeah.
Like save some of this shit. Don't give me another 10-minute song. Like this might have been shorter, so this wasn't 10 minutes. So I appreciated that. He starts to lean into you can't trust your people.
Yeah.
Right. Like he starts to say again. We know everything now, but this is where he starts to say like you think you have friends, but you don't. my counter on that, and it's not like I start to feel myself on Drake's side because I look for a counter right away.
Yeah.
It's of course you can accuse that when your entourage is hundreds deep.
Yeah.
Like he has not just people he relies, but you know what I mean? Like other people he's brought up.
For sure.
Like it's easy to say you can't trust your people when you have that many people.
Absolutely.
And in my mind, not knowing Kendrick at all, it's like you have 10 people, he has 1,000 people. So of course you can't trust 1,000 people. So I don't know. I feel it's a little lazy,
I agree.
unnecessary in a way.
I agree.
Yeah. So what am I missing? What's good about it?
I think lyrically, Kendrick is pretty good. Kendrick shows why he is regarded as one of the better ones.
Okay.
Like he can rap. Obviously.
He started to up his funniness. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a scrub.
Okay.
Right?
I started to see that point.
So I'm still not a fan of all the Kendrick music, but I know Kendrick can rap. So I like that. I like the fact that I think that's pretty all I like.
That was about it. He started to show off a little bit of
He's really showing his
thing.
thing. I think like when he started talking about that, I hate the way you dress and all this stuff. I'm just like come on, man. Like, are we serious? Like is this what we're talking about, right? This is regarded as the biggest rap beef of our era, and this is what you're talking about? That you hate how he dresses?
So I appreciate he didn't do it for 9 minutes like he did the other song.
Yeah.
Like there were elements of he already did that in Euphoria.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of find it unnecessary.
It's just getting,
to throw in there.
It was getting exhausting.
So I love the fact that the next one we listened to was Family Matters.
Yes.
And I believe you told me it came out like hours after the 616 dropped.
Yeah.
Whatever date that was. That's fire to me.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing. Like that's really deserves a lot of points for the fact that you're answering something that came out hours, like whatever, even if it was days before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I appreciate that. What I again started to appreciate, and I'm going to start coming out like a Toronto boy here, is like he starts asking for receipts for these things.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't remember if it was in a way like I have receipts for everything I'm saying. Where are yours? That's what it started to sound like to me. Like because I didn't like the 616, it's a better song. So if you're coming out with a better song hours later, it was starting to be long again.
Yeah.
But like you said, there was more different like changes, beat changes. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
and I like the fact that he took the end of the diss song before,
right.
and he brought it on like, see, I've been waiting for you this whole time, and
That's a
here's
good
the
point.
beginning. I think I told you this is my favorite song of the entire beef, like overall song.
Okay.
Family Matters.
I don't know if it's my favorite so far. I don't know if I like it better than Tailor Made.
Oh, you like
think I
Tailor
might like
Made
Tailor
better?
Made better.
Tailor Made was good.
Not knowing other beef songs that I didn't know what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
In that same vein, I loved how he brought up a fucking slew of LA rappers that are still rock with him.
Yeah.
Right? Like not just because he brought them in or, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
gave them mainstream hype.
Yep.
It was like, no, these, you know what I mean? Like, and in a way it's kind of unfair to bring other people into the beef
Yep.
if they're not there. I started kind of hating that, you know what I mean? Like, I guess by getting more personal, they're bringing more people in.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's more, I don't like this 20v1.
Yeah.
I want one-on-one.
I agree.
Right? Like, and so I think Drake would rock them all, like maybe not, but have come out 16 to 4 out of 20, maybe
Yep.
not, you know?
I think it would be a very hard battle if it's one-on-one.
So it starts to get even more personal, like bringing the kids into it.
Yeah.
I don't know 100% what they were talking about. Like it started to bring legitimacy of kids into it. What was my favorite, and to come back, it's hard because to the people and to us, like we just talked about it a couple of minutes ago. But the part about them not being black enough.
Yeah.
Listening to Drake, like respond to that. Like he said, like the soft A a whole bunch of times, and it sounds natural. Like it's not like it's like a white boy saying that word. It's not coming out as a poser. It comes out lyrically back to my 90s roots when that word was used, even like when you didn't question it. And I love the fact that not just trying to say I get to say this or whatever it was he was I'm stumbling over it, but he addressed it in a way that I appreciated. But more better than that, he was like, "You're sounding like you're trying to free the slaves.
Yeah,
like you're such a fucking
activist.
Righteous an activist.
Yeah,
like where you know what I mean. Like you're not who you're representing.
Yeah,
like you're not that. And then getting into if I'm not black enough, then is your girl black enough? Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
where does it stop? Where
Yep.
does it end? In this melting pot world, that resonated with me so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because we talked about it before it came up in this word or in the beef. And I was like, that's exactly how you should answer that accusation.
Exactly.
I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah, I think that was a good angle to take.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my favorite song.
Okay.
I do want to point out that one of the lines he was rapping about Kendrick, and then he just randomly takes a shot at Rick Ross. He's like rapping around Kendrick, and he's like, and Rick is reading my Miranda rights type of
Yeah,
shit.
no. This is what I'm saying. He took too many people on.
I know.
It wasn't just Rick Ross that he
he
added.
took
There was
Rick
more
Ross.
others.
He took The Weeknd.
Yeah.
He took Metro again.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do that.
No. At this point, those guys are.
They're irrelevant.
Yeah.
He's giving them shine by
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
I get why he wants to.
Yeah, they
But
all
just-
said his name.
But and it speaks to what you said before. Like, it's a little bit of a warning shot.
Yeah.
Like, just don't forget I'm still thinking of
Yeah,
you too.
you're still there.
You're still, yeah. But I already brought up, like, I'm already on his side for that shit. I do admit, from the mainstream angle that I've ever heard Drake before, like, you know what I get is I can see how you can accuse him of just acting as a rapper because he's so good at it.
He's very good.
Like, it's so much better than I would have thought. Like, I admit when Kendrick, like, with the Euphoria, when it was like other than the beginning part whatever. Well, no, the like that, when Kendrick comes in, it starts banging. Like, Kendrick was better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
Drake actual rapping, like, I could see how he's so good. You think like he's just acting it.
Yeah.
Right, like, because he's a good actor, I guess, and all that. Right, and he does the lover boy part better than Kendrick does.
Yeah.
In my mind,
Which is why he's bigger.
and exactly that's why he's
Yeah.
like the mainstream part that I know.
Yeah.
right, like, wow, the girls just love him no matter, like, he doesn't have to be a hardcore fucking hip hop guy.
He's the best at pulling both off.
Yeah, so that's why the other side I never would have guessed he's that good at.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm not like I'm sound like I'm on your side in Toronto.
No,
boying it up.
it's
So I appreciate that about Drake. So I don't think Family Matters is as good as Tailor Made for me. But this is where we are now. So what's
Yeah.
next?
So what's next? We're gonna go 3 in a row next.
Okay.
Because next is still May 3rd, and that's when Kendrick responds to Drake's Family Matters with Meet the Grams, which is Drake's last name.
Okay.
Family Grams.
Yeah.
And then the next one's May 4th and May 5th. So 3 days in a row. It was a whole weekend. It was
3
crazy.
days of just Kendrick.
No, it was 2 days of Kendrick, May 3rd and May 4th, which is when he dropped. May 4th, he dropped Not Like Us.
Okay.
Right? And then on May 5th, Drake dropped his response. And that's been the end of the beef since then.
All right. We'll be back. So where did we stop?
We stopped just now or before this?
No, I know where we are now. We're done.
Before this, we stopped at Meet the
Grams was the last thing we talked about.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meet the Grams. Did we do 3 songs?
We did Not Like Us, and The Heart Part 6.
6.
Did we stop at
No,
Family
we
Matters?
stopped at Family Matters, and then we went back and listened to Meet the Grams, which dropped
an hour after
Family Matters. And then the heart parts, then Not Like Us.
Okay, so I'm going to go all the way back to Meet the Grams.
Okay.
Right?
Meet the Grams.
That was an hour after Family Matters.
Yeah.
Boy, I say this for each song. Now it really starts to get personal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a laugh out loud. Oh my God, now you're going to get personal?
Yeah.
Bro, halfway through the song, I'm not impressed. I've heard some from both sides.
Yeah.
I've started to hear some funny shit. I'm going back. It's just, see, now I guess maybe if it was like days later or whatever, I'd be impressed. Or like an hour later after this month-long feud,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh man, wow, he had that ready to go. But halfway through the song, in the context of everything, I'm not impressed. Like I said, those personal.
So this is where a lot of people started to say that Kendrick won the beef. Because nobody said musically he won the beef. They said he won the beef because when Drake dropped
Family Matters.
Family Matters, which was pretty decent, really
Yeah.
good, that Kendrick dropped and stomped over that release.
I don't get that.
Strategy-wise, they say Kendrick won because of that. And then he dropped the next song, which was the club song, which is
okay.
What
So
Drake
before I get
does.
to Not Like
but
Us,
yes, that was the whole thing.
I found when he started to. This is where maybe the same angle as being personal. When he started to bring the Weinstein connection and the Epstein connection, I thought it started to get a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's not like I think the whole Epstein thing is fucked up and it doesn't exist or whatever, but it's such a weak excuse if it's not real. Mm-hmm. Like you can't call somebody a pedophile if they're not a pedophile.
Absolutely, it's a serious thing.
It's like being called, like, again, I don't know, as being called, if I say something, this is where I think like the light skin thing, it's so easy to call me a racist just because I'm white.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, like I have no defense. Mm-hmm. Like every time if I try to defend that, I'm just looking more racist in a way.
Yeah.
But no, that's enough about me and my racism. So I hated that the Weinstein shit got brought in, right? But I see that as a more personal thing. But you remember that show that The Weeknd did? It was what was it called? It was like a Crave or HBO show.
Yeah.
And it was all about sex.
Yeah.
It was really sexually fucked up. Like I did not watch Euphoria, going back to the beginning of this, because it was like sexually fucked up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there was highly teenage sex in it, and this weird angle.
Most trannies, yeah,
and all that kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like whatever. I'm not saying weird, but it was just too sexually charged. I didn't like it for that. The whole Weinstein angle, like, so bringing this kind of shit into it. But if Weeknd's on your side, that show was like almost, I kind of heard autobiographical, like about The Weeknd.
Yeah.
Like, so that's almost like showing you who The Weeknd is. Yeah. Like that's real. He really wanted to show you that side of him.
Yeah.
And I'm not kink shaming or anything. Like, go ahead. Whatever it is, like, with consenting adults, go ahead. But if anything, that's in your camp, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking when I heard him bring that up.
Exactly.
And again, this is coming from knowing the whole angle. I still saw no receipts. Yeah. I saw accusations with no backing behind them. Mm-hmm. What did you think when you first heard it?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this is getting ridiculous. Like, there's certain things you don't say without proof. And I'm like, I was same line of thing. We have basically so far the same line of thinking.
Yeah.
And I was just like, in past rap beefs, there's never been like these serious type of things with no receipts, especially when it's rap, which is supposed to be, I'm doing air quotes, everybody, based in being real. Yeah. That's a foundation of rap.
Yeah, that's actually, bring that up for sure.
So it's like, I'm like, what are you actually doing? And another thing that bothered me about this song, because this was a turning point, it was that both these guys are lyrically on top of the game, and this is what you come up with.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I felt that.
I'm just
without bringing in those words. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed with the words you came up with.
Yeah.
And again, I wasn't impressed with the beat.
Yeah.
I was impressed with the whole tone of it.
Yeah.
On the opposite side of that, to jump from that song, I see why Not Like Us is actually the real song I heard the most of.
Yes.
Like it, without actually bringing Tupac and Snoop into the song, it did have that West Coast non-gangster vibe.
Yep.
Right? You nailed it. Like, that was a great example. Like, it shows that you sometimes know what you're talking about.
Sometimes.
It was the one I heard the real most about. If I was ever the fucking, not that it was a video, like the video Drake did with the Crusher, the car, and all that was pretty good. But showing the sex offenders in Drake's house.
Yeah.
Right. And now going back, knowing that Drake's house got shot up, like, I can see why I would almost put this in the whole, it's all made up by fucking a big guy with a monocle and a cigar in a fucking white office. That now his house gets shot. Everybody could have seen Drake's house on Google before.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact he puts all those sex offenders in there, that's hilarious.
That is too funny.
That was the funniest thing Kendrick did for the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I saw that, I was like, holy.
That was a banger.
Yeah.
And it, like I told you before, it had the whole old school vibe.
Yep.
Let's pretend that I'm not being righteous about making fun of somebody being a pedophile for a second. Mm-hmm. The whole A minor line.
Oh, that was the best line.
That was like that was so good.
Yeah.
Like in a roast, like, I don't know if you watched the Tom Brady roast thing, but if you go with that, like, that was funny. Like, I love that.
It was funny.
I can see why, even if you're not fully on Kendrick's side for this whole thing. If you're like whatever, but I can see why he's repping for the West Side.
Yeah.
Just like I don't think we can ever take our Toronto boyness out of it. Right? We're Canadian. We, you know what I mean? Like we feel a certain way. We're not, you know what I mean? Like whatever people might think of Toronto if they don't really live here. So, but I can see why. And we've just seen the West Side get represented all the time.
Yep.
But I can see why this was a banging West Side rep. You know what I mean? Like, so.
And I can't see why. Because
What do you mean?
we mentioned it while we were listening to it. Like I said, if this came out outside of this beef, this would be a very middle of the road club song. It's a banger in the moment. We haven't had really any big club songs, especially from the West lately. So it's a banger in the moment, but the beat was basically, like you said, unapologetically West Coast. You know what that was. It's not like it was an amazing beat. It was just very West Coast.
It could have been Chat GBT say, give me a West Coast beat, Chat BT.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but
that's exactly what I was thinking. That's the best way to explain it. And Kendrick doesn't make these kind of songs, and you could tell parts of it that was forced.
I see. Yeah.
And so everybody said that, and I get what he was doing because when the Drake and Meek Mill beef happened, Drake did a club song, but this is what Drake does. So his club song was back to back, and it was like a very big song. And it was like everywhere. And I see Kendrick, he was doing the same thing.
It's layered even more.
Yes. So that's why he did that. And I really think that he realized the last song, Meet the Grams, was shit.
Oh.
So he immediately just jumped on and said, "Hey, forget
about
about that one. Let's talk about this song right here." And so it was kind of I see the strategy, which is why a lot of people said he won on strategy. I see the strategy of what he was doing. The execution of that last song just was not it for me.
Okay, so the fact that the strategy gets mentioned or anything that seems so 2024 and the least artistic thing I can think of.
Yep.
So I get no points for that.
0? Half?
No, not in the points game. To be honest with you, I forgot all about our point system, but
shit.
I'll get in there in a second.
Yep.
I wanted to. I'm just saying, like, it takes away more artistry for me. Like, I bring up points like legitimacy.
Yep.
Like now it seems you're not you're bringing up points that makes that seem like I said before, less. It's just West Coast chat GPT type.
It felt
of
like
style.
that.
Like I understand that, but I did appreciate like the lyrics, some of the lyrics, like again, like in a funny way, and
sure.
it did have a banger like to that kind of thing. This is a weird thing that I thought of, and it just makes me know that I'm on the Drake side of it, the whole thing. And it was a great line because he's bringing up like trains from Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And it seems like it was like an underground railroad type of fucking reference.
Yeah.
Forgive me. I'm not saying I know anything about this, and I say this too much, but he brings it up for the Underground Railroad. If the Underground Railroad came to Canada,
which it did,
like aren't those like true legitimate descendants?
Hey, Burlington is one of the places where the Underground Railroad
Niagara
went
for
to,
sure. Like
right?
like it's all.
So it's just like the Underground Railroad obviously wasn't underground, but like it's like. This is where they were coming to.
Like the hard, like the truest, you know what I mean? Like they had no idea what was at the end of that road for them.
So the thing is, no, they did know it eventually.
No, but they were like, let's say, they didn't accept their situation.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying anybody who accepted their situation had any choice.
Yeah, I know.
But they were brave enough to fucking get on, like run away.
Yeah, they didn't know for sure if they were going to
make it.
Yeah.
It was a blind leap of faith.
And that's the thing. And this is what irritates me about this beef and like somewhat Americans in general.
Yeah, I get
you
that.
don't even do your research. You don't even
That's
understand.
what I'm getting at.
Like I said to you at work that they're talking about his accent being fake, and I'm just like, have you ever been to Toronto?
Or even the lingo. Like, he had British slang.
Yeah, like this is what it is over here. You just don't understand. So in my eyes, that makes you stupid. And when you talk about the Underground Railroad and all this stuff, this is where they were going to.
Yeah, this is where we are.
Like, what are you really talking about? So all of that
it was a contradiction.
But that was my problem with the internet for a lot, because everybody was just, because the downfall of Drake was the theme of this beef.
Yeah.
They were just jumping on everything Kendrick said, and which is why I just thought he got overblown a lot in a lot of his songs.
That is so I agree with you. I see why you're saying that now, because that was the first thing I thought of. That's one of the things that made you pause. Is it's like you're bringing up the railroad from like this is his descendants.
Yeah.
This is more. It's not more legit.
Yeah.
But it's a pure legit.
Yeah.
Like it's like it has all that. You know what I mean? Like the beginning of the culture. And in a weird way, without the influence of other cultures.
Yep.
With the this is why Toronto is as multicultural as we can say it is because you get to live in that. You know what I mean? Like in the melting pot that it truly
Absolutely.
is. It's what makes New York City as great as it is.
And this is why people like DeMar DeRozan like to hear. Did you hear the DeMar DeRozan
Yeah, I did.
line?
But you're using him.
Yeah.
DeMar doesn't want you to say that.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave.
Yeah. So I felt that he contradicted himself large.
A lot. And he also said in that song that I'm not the biggest hater. When you just said 2 songs ago, I'm the biggest hater. I hate how you dress. I hate how you
but
this.
I think he said it in the same. That's not as big of a contradiction.
But it's a theme of what he was doing. Everything was a contradiction.
He's being a pure hater.
And I'm just like, it really, the beginning of the beef was better than the tail end of this beef.
Musically, if I didn't know this was a beef song, like if I was ignorant of everything, I'd say this is my second favorite song without like diving into the contradictions of the lyrics and all that. The club jamness of it, the West Coastness of it, it would be my second, and then maybe the AI Tupac would be third so far. But yeah, I think that's all I have.
We didn't talk about Heart Part 6 now.
No, now we'll get to the last.
Oh, I thought you were done.
No. I'm saying I think that's the end for that song.
Yeah, for sure. So, yes or no, you liked it or you not liked it? You did like it. Second,
like
because you said
not
before,
like us.
Not like us.
Not like I just said. I don't like it for the contradictions and the no receipts.
But overall,
the sex but if like I'm 50-50 because if I didn't know the seriousness of the thing, I thought it was a great West Coast jam.
yeah.
I'd say lyric musically it was like my second or third favorite.
Yeah.
Without giving, you know what I mean, like
what they were
props to the
saying.
song. You know what I mean, like
fair enough.
Like I said, like I contradict it all, but it was and like the sex offenders in the fucking house is funny.
Hilarious.
Like there's things I liked about it
For sure.
Almost as a default is how much I don't like everything else other than a couple of the other. You know what I mean, like. Some of them I think were too long and all that shit. So
Yeah.
I can see why people like this.
For sure.
Right? If you were just fucking listening to this as a song, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Especially the West Coast.
Oh yeah, fuck
They
Drake.
loved it.
Fuck salesman. Yeah. So I agree with that. But
Heart Part 6.
the Heart Part 6, like because I think I'm a Drake boy, I like way more.
Me
As
too.
overall, if I give points, I don't like it song like club banging wise as Not Like Us. But I love like in beef wise, I love that he points out you fell for all the fake shit that I put out there.
Which also has no receipts yet.
This is where I go.
Right?
I'm trying to say you have no receipts.
Yep.
But the fact you jumped on this fake shit shows you love having no receipts. Like you're nothing but misinformation. Like we all live in this fake world fucking shit. But way more than that, since fucking Kendrick brought up fucking the pedophile Epstein angle, he starts diving into like, well, this might be why you're bringing up the pedophile.
Yeah. Oh, that was
like
brutal.
that was hardcore.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Like this is like almost like the ultimate don't talk anymore.
Yeah, I was like, oh God.
It made me cringe a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I was gonna say
like
cringe.
now we're talking about real victims here.
Yeah, for sure.
But hurt people hurt. So if Kendrick's going to throw this shit out there, like Drake never brought up young girls.
Yeah.
The lines that he was bringing up, like if I was fucking underage girls, I'm too famous for it not to be brought out by now, right? Like it's too done.
Yeah.
Rockin', like this is where fucking everybody gets to that. Groupies have been around for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Like Elvis married a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Like fucking like underage girls, all this shit, rock and roll music. It's within that culture for wherever it is, but it's no more.
Yeah.
Like the Rolling Stones, they all sang about fucking 16-year-old girls and shit. So they don't do that. Like, so if he did that, it would have been out there by now.
Oh, for sure.
And then he brings up that fucking why, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. He's saying you must have been molested.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Kendrick has a song where he talks about molestation.
That's what I'm saying. So he brought up your own words.
Yeah, but that was also misdirection because it wasn't really him getting molested. But it's all
You
fair.
brought it up.
Exactly.
You're opening that door now.
Exactly.
So I love that he got to slam the door. If Kendrick, in my mind, if you want to bring the door open up again, then I guess I can talk about that more.
Yep.
Maybe that wasn't a ghostwriter. You're talking about my ghostwriters. Was that a real ghostwriter?
Yes.
And it seemed to me like a real stamp. It makes me say why I think Drake won. It makes it feel like,
Oh wait, did you just say your result?
well, this is the last song. I mean, I'll bring it. The only other thing I have before I'll let you talk for fucking once is, and it's the end. His outro makes me understand your angle on this the whole way. He even brings up in the outro, that's a West Coast like it's a club jam.
Yeah.
Right? Like everything you said of your point, Drake, I'm not saying you're saying his words, but he basically said it for you before you said it to me.
Absolutely.
And I agree. I agreed with that outro. It might not be because it's the last word, but I don't, you know what I mean? Like I said no receipts.
He said that song would be good if you weren't lying in the whole thing.
That's what I'm saying. Again,
It's
that's
like,
what, and I gave you fake shit to talk about, and so I'm showing you. You know what I mean? Like I'm giving you all the examples. You gave me no receipts for your shit.
Yeah.
I dig it. I see why I inspire. I wish, in a way, this instant gratification world that we live in, and I probably cut you off from. So, what did you think of the whole thing? Before I get the whole sum it up.
To sum it up, I still think I can't call it in terms of it's just so much of a balance between like what was popular and what was true, and musically who was better. So that's why I say I can't really call it. Is
that a cop out?
I said it last episode. I can't call it. I said that my favorite song is Family Matters. That's probably the only song I've listened to more than 5 times out of the whole beef.
I get it.
And I really like that middle section beat where he's flowing and it's in the hearse and everything. Like that part's like probably my favorite part. And I just think that just musically that was better. And I think that Kendrick's club thing was too much of a stretch outside of his element that just didn't work for me.
What's the most important element that one of these two guys had to show to you? Is there anything that's important? Like is it the music? Like it's the song? What matters most to you?
That you can rap. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear you rap. It's a rap beef. You got Mr. R&B Drake to come down. He said it in the first song. I had to climb down this. Just to talk to you, I had to hike down from my mountain. So he had to come down and actually do rapping, which he doesn't really do much of anymore. And he was almost out rapping a person who they consider to be one of the best lyricists of our times. And this is what we got out of it. So I think you need to rap. You need to at least sound somewhat truthful, even if you're lying. Sound somewhat truthful, and come on, pick some good beats. God damn,
so
man.
Drake's beats were way better.
Yeah,
all the way. Like I said at the beginning of this, or at part of this thing, it's like I really was like blown away by how good of a rapper Drake really like is compared to the Loverboy shit that I kind of heard.
Yeah.
Even in this whole rap, this is funny because you keep bringing it up. I keep forgetting that word in the whole beef. Kendrick was way less of a rapper in this.
Yeah.
He was more of a song, you know what I mean? Like a fucking, like a wannabe lover boy in this. Yeah, to me, it proves that you, like I said, it proves to me my own, to put a negative spin on me, my own bias that I was always probably going to go for the Toronto boy, the guy who cheers for the Raptors, you know what I mean? The guy that never saw a problem with any of this.
The guy who lives here.
But also, the guy, even if I didn't know any of this, the guy who I wouldn't want to be accused of being a pedophile with no real reason to be accused of being a pedophile.
Yeah.
The real reason why in a melting pot society, I don't think it's fair to call him not black enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Not knowing I have no way to say that. But so I think I was always going to be on that side. And yeah, even just knowing that Kendrick's just trying to make his name bigger. Not that he has to, but just in a mainstream way, it's just like, yeah, I don't know who you are.
At the very least, it's a side effect.
And if you're going to say one person, I can see why everybody who thinks their guy won was never going to change their mind. Nothing about this was going to make you change your mind about which one you liked.
You're going to ride with your camp.
And if anything, you're just trying to knock a king off of a fucking mountain and put yourself on a thing.
Who proved why he's a king. I
appreciated it. I really like I would say out of the 7 songs we listened to, 3 would be re-listenable. Right? Like you're for sure Family Matters.
The Tupac?
That was my favorite one is the Tailor-Made. Like, Tailor-Made. So, I mean, it's all right.
It's all right?
It was all right. Like, what do you think of my critique, how I approached it.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought you did it. I thought you did it exactly how I expected you to do it.
Yeah.
Very level-headed. You were listening. You were laughing at all the stuff that I laughed at. So
For the freaking, you're listening. It must be fun to watch me watch it for the first time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because like I knew some of the lines that would come up, and I would be like, I wonder if he's gonna get this one, and then you would laugh at it. And I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So I know I didn't have to. You got what was going on.
Okay.
And you got the whole story. So that's a great part.
And to double back on you, like I said, I heard the outro, so I kind of see why you would see that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I probably learned a little bit. I don't know. I think I just confirmed how I think you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like nothing. I think you learned way more about me than I learned about you today. And this was fucking fun, man.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. I want to ask you, do you think that the online thing how do you see, I guess you're going to have to look back eventually, when you go back on Twitter, when you see how the people talk, do they make sense to you? Because
so what do you mean?
Like a lot of the Kendrick people, I saw a lot of both sides. A lot of the Kendrick people were just like, yeah, this Kendrick, every song kills Drake, blah, blah, blah. And I just couldn't agree with it because I was like, are we listening to the same songs here? Are we in the same series here? And then some of the Drake people were saying certain things that, well, they were more muted, but because, it was like a really overwhelming take down Drake type of a thing. But a lot of people were just like, Drake's the best. Drake has these numbers. A lot of people talk of Drake numbers and how rich he is and whatnot. So it's like I just looked at both of them as idiots mostly. Every once in a while, you'd see the person like, you guys are both sounding like idiots because you guys are both dick riders is what they would say. So how did you feel about it?
So my main information source of this was The Ringer, like I told you before. It makes me not understand their angle.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I know more of a Kendrick won this beef angle. It makes me want to go back. So, we'll try to make it as brief as possible.
Yep.
What I'll do is I'll try to go back and hear what my buddy No Life Shaq, his angle on it is, because I appreciate a lot of his things. You know what I mean? Like from what I've known, like I like his opinion on Ja Rule. I like his opinion on Eminem.
Yeah.
And I like his opinion on the old rock and roll songs like that he used to review. So other than The Ringer, I don't know the main beef, other than the West Coast or Jesselnick. Jesselnick and but they've never liked Drake, and they brought up these baseball players that are coming up with Not Like Us and this whole, but I believe they have a not liking Drake angle to come from. The Ringer, I would take as my most unbiased opinion, and I just, right now, I understand really less on why they have that angle.
Yeah, that's why I asked you. I said, how does it seem like it? You
It
said it was
like
a blowout. I said it's not even. It was nowhere.
No,
to
it
a
was not
blowout.
as close to a blowout.
No,
I don't see how they really got to that. If they got to that, then they're hanging. Like I said, like I hate it. It's such a millennial term, or it's past that. It's the no receipts angle.
Yeah,
right. Like it's gay and it's also factual. Like I need to see the receipts now.
Yeah.
Like don't come here if they don't. The best part about the stupid Love Is Blind show and all that is when fucking Nick Lachey and his wife get to say fucking, well, what did you say?
Yeah,
and they show
I
it
love
again.
that.
Like that's pure receipts.
Yep,
right.
yep.
And then they got to eat it up. Like that girl that said she looks like fucking Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Ah, goddamn. Okay. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's like why the Tom Brady roast was good. And we'll talk about that eventually. It's just like, yeah, I do look gay. You
Which
know
I
what I
did
mean?
watch,
Like
by
whatever.
the way. Which I
That's
did
hilarious.
watch,
Like it's so you don't admit it, you're a fool.
Yeah.
Kendrick looked too defensive, and Drake looked like, "Here's my receipts, where's yours?" 6 times in a row. And then if we get to the music, it's just like that was a banging song. That was a decent song. So out of all the songs, there was, like I said, 2 bangers, 1 decent, and I say Drake won this. I'd say Drake won this 4-2.
Okay, nice. Yeah,
I don't know. I think you're about the same.
I would say the same.
All right.
I would say the same.
All right. Well,
I want to thank everyone for listening to the work-related podcast.
This is a special episode of Related by Work. I will maybe mention this on Twitter. Maybe this will get us fucking trending
You
worldwide.
should mention it on Twitter.
This will be the one that people really will attack us
Yeah.
I don't have a right to say nothing. What?
Drake, you motherfuckers are from Toronto. That's your problem.
Next
You like
week we'll get it.
pedophiles.
Yeah, you're all fucking better.
A
We'll see you on
minor.
Neptune's Island next week, people.